Hello, everybody, and welcome to the inaugural episode of Bulk or Busted. And I have our first guest, Mr. Kess Wylie. How you doing, Kess? It's been a minute.
Hey, how's it going? It's good. Living my best life.
Now, you are not a stranger to this concept. You've done this actually twice now.
Yes, yeah, I have for some reason friends of mine seem to want to show me Yu-Gi-Oh cards and ask me how good they are.
I
It's
look,
not
it's
a rare concept.
it's best to get game advice from a game designer, quite like yourself.
Yeah, I guess I'm just never allowed to play Yu-Gi-Oh, otherwise I can't go to shows
I
anymore. But
look,
yeah,
I've been trying to get more Magic players to play Yu-Gi-Oh, and hell, this week's been a perfect example because we're back at it again with Yu-Gi-Oh Magic Discourse. So this time is perfect.
oh yeah, there's like, oh, just because the SpongeBob secret layers are like silly, and so people are like, if Yu-Gi-Oh ever did anything like this, I'd quit. And then people are just like, you have a potato as a card.
Like my thing with that is that Yu-Gi-Oh has always done that,
Right.
and
What it
now it's
inherently
like,
it isn't. It's based on a show and a manga.
yeah, it's like it's a bit of an apples to oranges and missing the forest for the trees kind of thing. I actually have a video planned on covering that later, which is really funny that I had this idea before that happened. So it all works out.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but
But yeah, I mean, this is the second. I was on the One James uh, YouTube channel a while back and kind of did the same thing. I'm excited to see if I remember anything. This was like 2 years ago, I think, when I
yeah,
did
it
it.
was.
And then for people who don't know who I am, I guess I run the company Kessco or Kess Entertainment. We make board games, outdoor toys, etc. And I also have had a lot of experience doing content creation for Magic the Gathering with the longest running modern focused, which is a tournament format of Magic running podcast, and then just make TikToks now because
Yeah.
it's way easier when you have two children and you're running a company to come up with a 30-second video than it is to make a 2 hour long podcast.
Yep. But we'll get started off really simple with our first card, Sabersaurus. It is a normal monster with 1900 attack and 500 defense. Give me your thoughts on this card.
Okay, all right. So things I remember or vaguely aware of. The Earth section of the card matters not at all. I forget what stars are in the top corner. I'm assuming Speed Duel is relevant.
Okay, so right now, so the stars are its level. Yu-Gi-Oh has a system where the stars matter to whether you can normal summon it or you have to tribute summon it. 1 through 4 is no tributes at all. 5 through 6 is 1, and 7 or higher is 2.
Okay,
The
cool.
Speed Duel
And then,
means nothing. It's just the printing of the card that I got for this that is irrelevant
okay.
to discussion for this.
And then the flavor text is just flavor text, right?
Yeah,
So it's an attack 1900, defense 500, dinosaur normal. So it's like you get to play it for free. It's a normal summon. Is that correct?
Yes, so it would be.
And I know like special summons are more common than normal summons are a thing I vaguely remember.
Yeah.
I don't know why or what the difference is, and I don't know if I want you to tell me until I guess here, and then I might ask later. This feels like a limited, like, uncommon. It's like a 1900 attack, 500 vanilla dinosaur, unless like dinosaurs are a sick strategy that really want a free regular summon, which I think regular summons might be you could only summon one a turn.
You'd be correct.
Which then makes this bad. I'm gonna go. This card's bulk.
Okay? So we're starting off. You're currently 0 for 1. This card was actually quintessential in a very notorious format in Yu-Gi-Oh's history called Dino Rabbit, and focused around this card that I'm going to send you. This is not another question, but is a companion piece of a card called Rescue Rabbit. These two are brothers in arms and were responsible for one of the most notorious decks in Yu-Gi-Oh's history. The main thing that was the focus was that it is a level 4 normal monster you can pull 2 of out of your deck and go into another extended play that would usually revolve around dinosaur monsters. So you're a little close with the dinosaur motif in your little elaboration of why it was important.
So this is just the best 4-drop dinosaur 1900 attack.
It was the best thing
creature.
Yeah,
Got it. Okay.
It was the best
Okay.
thing you can get off of Rescue Rabbit. And it kind of shows that even if a monster is a normal monster, it can actually be very good. We're actually experiencing that now in current Yu-Gi-Oh! With a new engine that's come out. I'm not going to go too far into that because even I'm still learning that one today. So, this next card I'm going to show you is a spell card. It is called Pot of Prosperity. It's one of the pot cards. Most people are familiar with Pot of Greed, which is draw 2 cards. Let me elaborate on what this one does because it's a lot. To start, you banish 3 or 6 cards from your extra deck, which is where all your fusions, your synchros, your exceeds go to. And you reveal the top cards of your library equal to the amount of cards that you banished, and you get to add one of those to your hand, or 2 if you did 6. And afterwards, damage your opponent takes for the rest of the turn is halved, and you can only activate one of these cards per turn.
Okay, wait. All right. So you exile 3 or 6 cards of your choice. You get to choose which ones from your extra deck face down. And you said that's like what is the extra deck again?
So the extra deck is where your fusion, synchro, exceeds, and link monsters go to. Monsters that
So like kind of a
within...
wish deck, basically.
Kind of. But that's probably the best example you could probably pull from Magic.
All right. So it's for people who don't know what Magic wishes are cards that let you pull stuff from your sideboard. Sideboards are used for a bunch of different reasons, but wish cards let you get from them in the middle of a game. The rest of this turn, after this card resolves, any damage your opponent takes is halved. Okay. Your opponent takes is halved. Also, excavated cards from the top of your deck equal to the number of cards banished. I'm assuming that's okay. So you exile cards from the top of your deck equal to the number of cards you banished.
I'm mistaken.
Is that? Are you mill or is it excavate mill?
Actually, I'm actually wrong in my initial assessment. It is only 1 card. I thought it was 2 per instance, but it's just 1. So excavate is like you reveal them. That's Yu-Gi-Oh's term for revealing.
Okay, so you just reveal cards from the top of your deck equal to the number of cards banished. Okay, so you could either reveal 3 or 6, and then you can add one of those cards to your hand, place the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. You can only activate 1 pot of prosperity per turn. You can draw cards by card effects the turn you activate this card. Okay, so this lets you reveal 3 or 6 cards from the top of your deck. And then you get to get one of them into your hand. So ostensibly, this is card filtering. Spell cards are free. I think the issue that you run into is that you're banished. What's the total cards you have in your banished deck?
As many as you can put there. There's no limit.
Oh, there's no limit.
Yeah, and when you put a card in banish, it's like removed from the game. So
so you don't start. Sorry, no. Yeah. Sorry, wrong question. What's the total amount of cards you have in your extra deck?
15.
15. Okay.
15's the max.
So basically, the first 2 of this card you cast, you might cast it to do the banish 3 option. The extra deck limits how many cards you can find, because if you drew 4 of these, you can't do 6 times 4, right? It doesn't, or 6 times 4 is bigger than 15.
So
you can only do
the deck's limit in Yu-Gi-Oh is 3 cards per copy, not 4.
Oh, okay. But still,
yeah,
that's 18 and 15 cards. So you would have to do
a variation of 6
1 3 and 2 6s, or 1 6 and 2 3s.
Yeah.
Now, how essential is an extra deck generally? Like, is pulling cards from that deck like a major way you're playing the whole time, or can you have a strategy that? Well, so like if you. I don't know if that's cheating. Asking that question. So in my head, there's 2 options, right? One option is every deck on the planet needs your extra deck. That's where you get most of your cool stuff. There's no way you're going to be doing anything powerful in Yu-Gi-Oh! Without accessing your extra deck. Or there are powerful strategies that use the extra deck, but not all of them do. And basically, I think that literally is the deciding factor on if this card is good. Because like free. Reveal the top 3 cards of your library, put one into your hand is one of the most broken effects you can have in Magic. This is ostensibly that, except that it just gets rid of this one resource that doesn't affect the game really, unless it does. And so I'm going to guess, and I'm going to get it wrong. Okay, so
again, ask as many questions as you want.
If the extra deck in your game is comparable to like your mana pool, which it might be me thinking of Yu-Gi-Oh, your lands, right? Then this card is bad, because if it was exile 3 cards from, or even just your opening hand size, if you exile 3 cards from your hand or in play, lands in play, do this, that's bad. If like one of the major resources you have access to, one of the major card pools you have access to is that area. But I feel like there's no way you can't make a deck that doesn't use that weird, like a weird extra deck. That seems like a silly game. Which if it isn't, sorry. So I'm gonna say this card's good.
You'd be correct. This is a very
Okay,
good
cool.
card. This, I believe, I could be wrong. This is currently on our limited section, which is, in Magic term, is restricted. But we
Yep.
go a little further from just banned and limited. We also have semi-limited, which this card actually has bounced back and forth between limited and semi-limited. You were on the right track with the extra deck. Some decks really rely on their extra deck. Some could go without it at all. There's a lot of decks. One name you may have been heard thrown around is Monarchs. Monarchs do not care about an extra deck at all. So that's just wheel and dealing out cards like crazy. This is actually a bit of a better version of another pot card called Pot of Extravagance, which does something very similar, but the cards are chosen at random face down and you draw 2, not dig 6, which as was seen as a much better version of that. This at launch was about $100 when it came out, and now you can get it for $7.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, like it's comparable to Once Upon a Time in Magic, right? Which
Yeah.
is like a card that, as long as it's the first card you cast a turn, is free and lets you look at the top 4 cards and get one. Cool. I'm glad I got that one right. Hell yes.
And I like how you did bring up Once Upon a Time, because the one thing that also a lot of people will get caught up on is that half damage restriction. If you're playing this first turn, you don't care about that because you're not dealing damage anyway.
Damage doesn't matter.
Yeah. But going on,
damage is for people that like combat myths.
I mean, hey, you gotta win the game somehow. So this next set I'm sending you is actually 2 cards that go together. They are one and the same. They are Fire Hand and Ice Hand. What these two
Thematically, I love that. Thematically, I love this.
Yeah. So what these cards do, they do very similar things in that when they are destroyed, they search the other half of them while also blowing up either a monster card on the field or a spell and trap card on the field. And no, I don't have anything else to say about this. Go ahead.
Cool. All right. So these are summons. It looks like, but they're pyro effects. They have the stats of summon. So are these summons?
Yeah, these are monsters. Like you
Okay,
will.
yeah, they're monsters. Okay.
Yeah.
Are they? They are regular monsters.
So they are what is treated as effect monsters, just because they have something that is not flavor text.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, but they're not special summons.
So the way their effects work is that they special summon each other out when one is
Sure.
destroyed.
But they stay in play. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, they stay.
You get 1 per turn of one of these, and then if they die, you get the special summon. Okay.
Yeah.
When this card is in your possession, is destroyed by your opponent's card, either by battle or by card effect, and sent to your graveyard. You can target 1 monster they control. Destroy that target when you cast special summon Ice Hand from your. And then this other one is whenever you cast a card in possession is destroyed by your opponent's card, either by battle or by card effect, and sent to your graveyard. You can target 1 spell or trap card they control. Okay, so 1 gets rid of a trap card, 1 gets rid of a special summon.
Yep.
Okay, so they're free. They die on ETB. They draw you a card when they go. Their power and toughness are comparable to that Rhino. They like theoretically. These also let you chain, right? Like if you have 3 of each, the fire one gets you an ice one, that gets you a fire one, that gets you an ice one.
Yeah, they loop back into each other.
Cool. They're also cool ice cards and fire cards that have a different robot hand attached to them, which is an interesting, weird choice.
Yeah.
Okay. This is a card that I would love playing with in Magic.
Yeah, Magic doesn't have a whole lot of. We call these in Yu-Gi-Oh! We call these floaters. Is when a monster that goes into itself. Magic has very little of these, if any, that I can think of.
Like Squadron Hawk or Dominus of the red black elemental semi god that 5 mana from Lorwyn that when it comes into play, you get
Oh,
a
full.
thing.
Wait.
Normally, it's when you
Yeah.
cast them, you get it. It's
Yeah.
not when it dies, you get something, but that's not to say they don't exist.
Hmm.
Um, and normally those cards are very fun and grindy, but normally they're just fun and grindy. And Yu-Gi-Oh is a format that like you go bonkers, and this requires your opponent to kill them. So like this, so I have to have this, and I have to get my opponent to kill this. Now it does make this like kind of like an unblockable creature, right? You have the Abyss because if they try blocking
Kind of.
it,
Yeah.
it probably trade if they try blocking it or try killing it. There's some. Oh, does Yu-Gi-Oh trade in combat? I forget, or is it like you attack
Yeah.
something or block them? They do
So
trade. So
yeah.
if
So
I attack and you block, my attack hits your defense, and then the highest dies, right?
okay. So the
It's not
way
like
that
Magic where
Yu-Gi-Oh.
like
So the way Yu-Gi-Oh works is um, that you attack each monster before you attack the player. So, and that's calculated from attack to attack, not attack to defense, as long as it is in attack position, and if it's in defense, it goes attack defense. So
sure.
you can
So
crash.
it's whatever position your card is in, it gets to do which number.
Yeah.
But it's not it's not like a power toughness type of situation like that.
Yeah.
Like it's my card is either a attacker or a defender at the moment, and then that's the number you have to deal with.
Yes.
I'm gonna say these cards are bad.
Right now you are 1 for 3. These were actually
Are you giving me good cards?
So I spliced them in. So these two are actually responsible for the name of another format called Hat Format. Hat Format stands for Hand, Artifact, and Trap Tricks. That were the 3 archetypes that defined that period of Yu-Gi-Oh! These were very powerful because with these, you were able to float into a level 4 that let you go into a rank 4, which is a type of special summon from the extra deck. That was very easy to do with these cards, and you're able to just crash with these things and get their effects off anyway because it triggers off of being destroyed by battle. So you were able to just set this out, crash into a bigger monster, have effect trigger, bring out another one, and honestly just keep going, given the board position at the time. So,
Ooh.
but no, and this was actually during a slower
It was
point.
supposed to be a turn 1 format, I thought. But
So back in in between about 2009 to about 2015, Yu-Gi-Oh was actually kind of at the speed that Modern is, where it wasn't very blitzy and 10-minute turns, stuff like that. It was actually kind of a bit reserved. It's a lot of people go back to that time of Yu-Gi-Oh as being one of the more better formats to play in.
Sure.
If you're in Yu-Gi-Oh enough times, you'll hear the word Edison thrown around, which is another old school format. It's nice, reserved, kind of control based style of gameplay that doesn't like end in like 10 minutes.
Okay.
And for this next one, it'll seem a little innocuous. We have this little guy. His name is Level Eater. He is a insect monster with 1 star, and if this card is ever in your graveyard, you can target 1 level 5 or higher monster you control, reduce its level by 1, and if you do, special summon this card. This face-up card on the field cannot be tributed except for a tribute summon.
How do you reduce a level? What does that mean?
So
like the star goes down to 1 star?
Yes. So it's something you just keep track of, where say you have now a level 5 monster out, and this is in your graveyard, you activate that effect, you target that monster, its level goes down to 4, and this monster comes out, you just keep track of the level reduction.
Okay. There's like a marker. It's a ostensibly a minus token of some variety that you have to keep track of. Okay. And levels are levels obviously used to summon things, but then also like if I have 2 summons on the field, does their level let me get the bigger summons in play, or does it? What are levels relevant?
So when levels are in play, it doesn't matter anymore, except for effects like this.
So that reduction of level by 1 could very easily.
So
you can target 1 level 5 or higher monster. So every time you do this, it makes them smaller. Therefore, they can be used to resummon the next one. And you understand it. Okay, so if this is in your graveyard, you can target a level 5 or higher to put it into play. But then it gets smaller. So if it's once it's no longer level 5 because you reduced it, you no longer get it. And then you can't use Level Eater to sacrifice it to summon a bigger thing unless the thing you're summoning is specifically a tribute summon.
Yes, so
but
a
you
lot
can
of
build your deck specifically to do that. So I think that's sorry, go.
yeah, so the distinction on level leader is because a lot of cards will use tributing for cost, and this is to help get around that. So it's instead just for a tribute summon, which you can only do in one per turn anyway, unless specified otherwise. So things like, say, there's a card called Mass Driver, which lets you tribute a monster to deal damage. You could just do this over and over and over and over again if you have high enough level monsters. Stuff like that.
Yeah. Is there like sacrifice effects in the game?
That would be
Mr.
tribute.
Here ask what?
That would be tributing, like what I just described.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, got it. So tributing without. So the word sacrifice is tribute. You
Yes.
tribute summon to sacrifice, but you can't like infinitely sacrifice level eater because it can't be sacrificed at all. Okay.
Yes. Think like assault. Think like
Um,
assault vest or assault suit. The equipment.
so this comes into play. You can use it to summon things, but you can't. So I feel like this is good. I feel like the play pattern here is you discard this card, summon. Oh, is there like I'm assuming there you can discard things on purpose.
You
Like
can. Yes.
you can put stuff in your there's ways to put your stuff in your graveyard with okay, so in my head, you have this, you have your level 5 summon. That level 5 summon did something cool. Maybe let you discard this guy. You already sacrificed things in play. Maybe you played level leader on turn 1. On turn 2, you played level leader on turn 1, then maybe some special something other, then you put a big 5-drop in play. That 5-drop you then use to bring back level eater. That 5-drop had a different ETB effect, and then you can then use it to bring level eater back into play, and then you can then sacrifice the level eater and the new tribute and the 5-drop to bring in another 5-drop, and you can kind of repeat that process with ETBs. So this lets you like kind of chain off. Did anything I say not work within the rules of Yu-Gi-Oh?
You're kind of in the right space.
Okay. All right, it's good.
You're missing a key factor, but you're on the right track.
It's what's the opposite of bulk in this game?
Busted.
Busted. It's busted.
You would be correct. This is busted, but it is not quite busted for the reasons you were going for. You're on the right track, but the reason this is busted is because of a summon mechanic in the game called link summoning. It is one of the more newer mechanics. It came around I believe 2018. How link summons work is there is a cost of monster effect, type of monster on the card that you have to send to the graveyard. Now what you can do is you can send level eater for that because it is not a tribute as a cost, it is a send, which is different. So if you have a high enough monster, say a level 10, you can just keep bringing this thing back for as many link summons as possible. This card is actually currently banned and will never come back because of how versatile this card was, where you were able to just spit out your whole extra deck off of this one little bug. So right now,
I feel like the fact that I knew nothing of what you just said existed.
Yeah, I mean,
I got close.
No, you were very close. You were on the right track. You just didn't know about a certain mechanic, which.
The funny thing is that with this game in general, I've noticed is like, if I can figure out that this is probably busted, how did Yu-Gi-Oh! The card development team?
So this was made. So this was made in 2008, I want to say, during what is referred to as the Synchro era, which is where this card shined a lot because you were able to just do synchro summons with it. Maybe you get 1 or 2 off in a game with this thing. And link summoning happened 10 years later. So that's a lot of the beauty of Yu-Gi-Oh! Is everything is legal at the same time, but then you have things that developers 10 years ago weren't expecting 10 years later, which is why our ban list is a little bit bigger than a lot of other card games because of stuff like that. But we also do clean it out a lot with erratas and stuff like that.
Okay.
So, yeah, so right now you are 2 for 4. So, go ahead and reveal the first card in what I sent you.
Let me go back to the 2 for 4. All right, I'm gonna say that 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, Sabersaurus is a cheater. Sabersaurus isn't good. This rabbit's good.
Well, the rabbit. I didn't have you guess the rabbit. So
no.
So yeah. So
but you know.
But yeah, no. You got Pot of Prosperity, you got Level Eater, and Firehand and Saber Sword strip you up.
I'm talking shit about that dinosaur. If the rabbit didn't exist, would we be playing the dinosaur? Absolutely not.
I mean, funny enough, there were other options aside from Sabersaurus at the time.
Oh yeah, so then it's just
It was the one
it's
with
a
the biggest.
random.
It was the one with the biggest stat line.
It's vibes based. Soul Charge, spell card, target any number of monsters in your graveyard, special summon them, and if you do, you lose 100 LP for each monster. Special summon by this effect. You cannot conduct your battle phase the turn you activate this card. Can only activate one Soul Charge per turn.
So a bit of a correction. It's not 100. It's 1,000.
Oh sure. And how much total do you have before you lose?
So you start the game with 8,000.
Okay. So, and you get to target any number. Okay, so it's not all.
So it's monsters that are able to be special summoned from the graveyard. So it doesn't hit everything. You have to be able to special summon it.
So you get to get up to 7. Can you gain LP in this game? Is LP
yes.
like a?
You can gain LP, and I heard what you were going for. Up to 7. Your monster, you have only access to 5 zones for monsters. It's not like Magic where your board size is infinite.
Sure. So, but don't you have like 2 special areas that you kind of can put monsters into sometimes?
So that is the extra monster zone, and that's only for monsters in your extra deck, and you only get 1 of those.
Okay, all right. So no extra monsters for you, Soul Charge. Okay, so this is free card, put up to 5, reanimate 5 creatures for 1,000 LP. They have to be allowed to do that. So no Eldrazi for you, Soul Charge. How common is that as a drawback? Like do they put the rider can't be special summon from the graveyard on most reanimator sized targets or things over 7 stars or?
So the reason I say it like that is because a lot of times you're able to send things like from the extra deck straight to the graveyard, but since it was not special summoned properly, it cannot be special summoned through other means. A lot of cards kind of have that like little caveat, mainly extra deck monsters have that little caveat in the ruling of the game, where if it wasn't special summoned properly the first time and then sent to the graveyard, it cannot be reanimated.
So you have to get things into your graveyard from probably not your extra deck.
Yeah, for the most part.
Okay. I mean, like every version of this card that exists in Magic that you could pay for 0 mana would be busted. Just 100 LP for each monster. Special summon by this effect. You cannot conduct your battle, so you can't attack. One negative here is that because you can't attack, I guess is attacking the majority is life lost due to attacking the majority of losses caused in Yu-Gi-Oh, or is like alternate win conditions like Thor's Oracle or Mill
there are alternate win conditions, like one of the most famous being Exodia, but there have been a lot printed in the game since then.
How many pieces are on Exodia?
I think there's like 7. I don't know.
Not 5.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, so you can only activate 1 per turn. Doesn't that means nothing to me? I think that's just like this doesn't go infinite. You can't conduct your battle phase this turn. You activate this card. Is like feels like it's just to stop hasty versions. Like most creatures you put in play don't have haste, right?
So in Yu-Gi-Oh, there is no such thing as that.
There's no such thing.
So the only caveat is that you cannot attack on the first turn of the duel. Any turn after that, the moment you play a monster, it can attack immediately.
Okay, so being able to not attack on a turn is actually a relevant drawback. Okay. Can I act? Is there a main phase, second main phase? Can I activate this card after my battle phase, or is the battle phase the end of the turn?
So I believe what happens is I could be wrong on this, but I believe if you conduct your battle phase as normal and then go into your second main phase, I believe you cannot activate it. I could be wrong.
So this is
I could be wrong, but that's how I think it should work.
Okay, you cannot conduct your battle phase at the turn you activate this card. Oh, so this card cannot be activated if you have battle phased.
Yeah.
And then the other question I have is: are there Can't get haste. Life totals matter. Oh, can I place these creatures in defense mode and protect
Yes.
myself with them? Okay.
Yes, you can.
And how relevant in the game is defending?
It's pretty relevant. Most things in
it's
the
it's
game
it's
don't
not an
have piercing.
ignored. Okay.
Most things in the game don't have
Um.
piercing.
Cool. I'm gonna say this card's real good, or maybe not real good, but it's good.
Oh no, you were right the first time. This card is
Oh, it's real good.
this
Okay.
card is
Okay.
very,
Cool.
very good. This is another
Okay.
card that is currently banned and will never come back because of how good it is.
Sure.
So the way this card was played during the time when this came out was you were able to just kind of dump a lot of monsters from your main deck into your graveyard, and then bring a lot of stuff back to do a lot of extra deck plays, mainly with Xyz monsters. Um, it was so good for a while that it got limited very quickly into its lifespan and got banned, I think, in the beginning of what would be the Link era, which where this card would have really shined, and it never got to see that chance for good reason. Because you can just bin 5 cards into your graveyard pretty easily in this game and just pay 5,000, bring them back, and have setup plays for your opponent's turn. It was very easy to abuse this card, and I'm surprised it even saw light to paper. I think the only reason it did was because this was featured in one of our sets that focuses on putting anime cards to paper, and this was in the first version
Sure.
of that.
So I just fly in my room.
Oh no.
Go later. It's fine. All right.
So yeah, no. So you were
God,
now
okay.
are
So it's like
3
this
for
was
5.
like Yu-Gi-Oh in the anime cast this card, therefore we have to include it. But
Pretty
it's
much.
so busted.
Pretty
Got
much.
it.
It's so it's not exact 1-to-1. They do make changes, and not everything makes it through. There have been a lot of people clamoring for a lot of other types of cards to make it in that it won't work. But yeah, no, this is one of the most infamous of the anime import cards. So right now you are 3 for 5, and you got one last one to go. Let's see if you can at least score positive in this, or if you're gonna break even.
All right. Gimmick Puppet Nightmare. All right. So based on the laws of averages, every card you've shown me is good. Therefore, this card is likely bad. But on the other hand, you know, maybe you're just trying to get me. Maybe this is all a cruel thing to mess
I don't
with
know.
me. Gimmick Puppet Nightmare. Dark. It's got so many stars. It's got 7, so it needs 2 characters to be exiled or sacrificed or attributed to get rid of it. It's an effect type creature, machine type effect creature. You can special summon this card from your hand by attributing 1 face up XYZ monster you control. Okay, so getting around that. 2, you can only special summon Gimmick Puppet Nightmare once per turn this way. When you do, you can special summon 1 Gimmick Puppet Nightmare from your hand or graveyard. Okay, if this card is special summon, you cannot special summon any monsters for the rest of this turn except Gimmick Puppet monsters.
Alrighty.
Okay, so first question. Are there more Gimmick Puppet monsters other than Nightmare?
Yes, so I brought this up a little bit ago, but there are in Yu-Gi-Oh we have things called archetypes, where they're centered around a certain word that you'll see on the card throughout a bunch of them. In this instance, it's Gimmick Puppets. Gimmick Puppets are a series of machine-type monsters with very high levels that focus around the Xyz summon mechanic, which is what you saw there and how it's able to bring itself out. They're very good at special summoning themselves from the hand to allow you to keep going forward with your plays.
Okay, so this, if you have 1 face-up Z monsters, Z's monsters is how you pronounce it.
Try like the word exceed, like exceeding expectations.
XEs monsters. Okay, you control. So as long as you have 1 of those, you get to play this for free. Well, not for free. You sacrifice that Z monster, which generally I'm assuming has some type of benefit for being exiled, or you want to do that. And you can only do that once per turn. When you do that, you can special summon another one of itself from your hand or graveyard. That's the kicker. Can this be put in your extra deck and then put in your graveyard through effects easily from your extra deck?
So, monsters that are not Fusion, Synchro, Xyz, Pendulum, or Link cannot go into the extra deck.
But Xyz can. So you're guaranteed to have an Xyz monster on turn 1, basically. Okay.
Yes. If possible.
Okay, so that means you don't need 2 cards to be able to go off. You just need this and a friend.
Yeah.
You can put a special summon one gimmick puppet nightmare from your hand or graveyard. If this card is special summoned, you cannot special summon any monsters for the rest of the game except for gimmick type monsters. Okay, so this is a big boy. He's defensive. He's a higher defense stat than his attack stat, and his attack stat is lower than the dinosaur. That's good. When you get one, though, you get two of them for free as long as you have one nearby. Now, having one nearby is a challenge. You can special summon any monsters for the turn. You can't special summon any other monsters, but I feel like if you're doing this, who cares? Well, except for gimmick puppet monsters, which means that just this is actually not a drawback.
Yeah.
Assuming that your deck is trying to do that thing. You have to play a gimmick puppet nightmare deck, which could just have never been playable, assuming sometimes they miss, but my guess is it was. Okay, so the play pattern is turn one, you put a Z monster into play face up from your extra deck somehow. You then, no matter what, get to put this into play for free. And then if you have it in your hand, and then if you're lucky, you have the other one in your hand or the other one in your graveyard. Now, gimmick puppet nightmare, like if there was something called like gimmick puppet nightmare, uh, Ice Dragon, or gimmick puppet nightmare 2. Can you have like a total of 6 of a card called gimmick puppet nightmare? Since like gimmick puppet is a small writer, is nightmare maybe even a smaller writer for a longer name that would count towards, or is gimmick puppet nightmare the holistic name?
So the name that's the focus of the archetype is gimmick puppet, and then you have whatever comes afterwards.
Okay. So nightmare
Is the
gimmick puppet nightmare is referring to literally the 2 other cards of this type in your deck that you would exist if you played all 3.
Yes.
Okay, and only that card. This card special summon. You cannot special summon any monsters for the rest of this turn except gimmick puppet monster. This is for 4 out of 2, 4 out of 6, or 3 out of 3. I mean, this is basically just hinging on our like were gimmick puppets good, right? Because like this effect, the only negative of this effect is that if you don't, how important is having a second one? Okay, so are Z's monsters easy to get from your special deck into play?
Yes.
Like often, okay, like you can just cast one.
Depending on what your deck does, most of the time it is very easy to get an Xyz monster out.
Okay, like you can just summon it. It's in play turn 1. There's
very little hindrance for a lot of decks to do Xyz plays.
So 9 times out of 10, I am going to be able to play this if it is in my opening hand and put it into play for free, or without losing card advantage, or how important. I guess we talked about earlier that the card. I guess we went through a loop on that one. So the size of your extra deck matters, and so it doesn't matter in this deck that's playing Z monsters and nightmare puppets. Which I can't know without me asking you, but I guess I could ask you. So, when your deck cares about your extra deck, how important is the card advantage of that extra deck to you?
It is like game-winning crucial. You want basically every card in your extra deck.
So it isn't playing the Z monster and sacrificing isn't necessarily a free thing.
Pretty much.
You're losing out on access to that Xyz. Okay. This is good. I'm gonna get bitten because like gimmick puppets were never actually that good, and or the fact that you have to have a second, like it's just like this is like a weird mediocre strategy, or this is like a mediocre card and a good strategy that's like kind of talking towards what it wants to do. But I'm gonna say it's good.
Okay, final answer. You're gonna say it's good.
Yeah, I don't like the way you said that.
So, you are correct, this card is actually good, but not for any of the reasons that you elaborated on. I was hoping that this would trip you up. I was hoping this would trip you up a little bit. But the way that this card is good, this is actually another banned card, so I've shown you 3 cards that are legal and 3 cards that are banned. So the reason this card is very good is that last line at the bottom saying you cannot summon monsters this turn except for gimmick puppet monsters. So the way that this card can be used is you can summon this to your opponent's side of the field and lock them out of summoning any type of monster that is not the requirement on the card. We call this a floodgate. because it stops your opponent from doing
You
anything.
you can special summon.
Through
Oh,
other
I didn't know you
cards.
could do that.
Through other cards,
You
not through itself.
oh, through other cards. Okay,
Yes.
okay. So this is like a donate effect, basically.
Yes. You're donating this to your
Okay.
opponent, and
All right.
normally
This
it'll be
was
on their turn. You can
sure.
send this over to your opponent, and then it just turns the turn off completely. This card's banned for that reason, because of how easy it was to do that.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah, this has nothing to do with the archetype that it's a part of. It has nothing to do with the fact that it could summon itself out. It was just a toxic
That's
floodgate.
getting these monster in play is easy. Getting an ability to cast this card and
Right.
donate to someone else is a thing you can do, and by doing that, they are likely going to lose. Okay,
Yep.
that's cool.
It's basically a skip turn card.
Yeah, yeah. I like what it's doing.
Oh yeah, no.
That's a cool
Big
effect.
old big old floodgate. We have a lot of them, and we've banned most of them for the most part. We've got a couple left, but I don't think they'll last for much longer.
They call them floodgates because flood is the card that puts them into play with your opponent's control.
No, so floodgate is like from the actual real life term of floodgating, where it's meant to
Okay.
just stop something from happening, i.e., the flood. But yeah, no, you actually ended on positive. I'm actually a little surprised. I was hoping that last one would have stumped you.
Well, I will tell you this: I had to guess: are all of these good, or is one of them bad? And I leaned for the fact that all of them are good.
I tried to find ones that were like on the border of like good and bad, but I'm like, these still seem really good. So I just kind of went like, is this like really good, or is this just unbelievably strong?
Sure. I'm still gonna say that the dinosaur is bad. I'm gonna say I did this 5-1, and
Look,
that the dinosaur has nothing to
if
do.
you traveled back in
Stop play
time,
for being
look, if you traveled back in time, you'd have a lot of people agreeing with you.
Goblin Piker saw tournament play, right? But am I?
Yeah.
Well,
Lordy. But no, thanks for joining me on this. This was a hell of a time.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Join us next time where I hope we'll have another guest for Is It Bulk or Is It Busted? Have a good one, y'all.
Bye, everybody.